Oh, welcome to the channel. My name's Kyle, and I am brand new starting out on YouTube, so bear with me. Hopefully, I'll get better at this as we go. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 2004 GMC Yukon XL that I picked up about 2 months ago. I love this thing. This thing, it's been phenomenal. The one thing I like about it, look at all the space. I got 5 stepkids that I got a haul with me, plus my girlfriend, and we cruise all over and nobody's bumping into each other. I couldn't be better. Not to mention the reliability and the fuel mileage in this thing is a lot better than I expected. It's, I mean, not phenomenal, I should say. It's averaging about 17 miles to the gallon. If I just cruise nice and easy, I can get up to about 19 where I am. But otherwise, I'm going to do a walk around, show you some of the things I like, don't like, problems, stuff even you can watch out for. And there's been a lot of these videos online, but one more doesn't hurt. It's somewhere to start, so let's get to it. Now, I bought this thing, like I said, a couple months ago, and I was looking at all different vehicles. Namely, something big. It had to have lots of seats. I didn't want a minivan because obviously I don't want a minivan. I want something four-wheel drive, something that's going to be comfortable for long commutes, as I do 200 kilometers a day round trip just to go to work and back. I should have found something a little bit more fuel efficient, but I was happy with this. I picked this up for 2,800 bucks. All I've done to it is a purge valve, tires, two U-joints, and I got to do a couple ball joints yet, and a CV axle. Other than that, it's great. The looks, amazing. I think GM was ahead of its time for this. I've never been a GM guy. I was looking at Ford Expeditions and Excursions. Excursions were just pigs. The Expeditions were boring. This I was very happy with. Now, this thing's rough. Quite rough. It was a farmer's vehicle. His wife was driving it with their kids. So we'll just take a look at the outside. It's all dented up. It's starting to rust. There's stuff going on here, these cheap plastic things. All down below is good. Then you come to this rust here. Thankfully, hasn't gone all the way through yet, but it's pretty much there. I'll get it fixed, but it's not a big deal. This is good. Typical rust down here, this stupid styrofoam crap. I'd like to get a new patch panel, get that fixed up. Otherwise, that's typical GM. Bumper's not rusted. Handle is missing. Minor details. Nobody's getting in it. Got the hitch on there. I did put all the LED lights in there. I do need a relay to get those signals to stop flashing. More rust in the same spots. Otherwise, I am very happy with how this thing looks. It has been somewhat maintained. I would like some new signals. Lens covers here, a little faded, a little cracked. Grill's in decent shape, but I'm happy. So we'll move on to the interior. So this is the interior. Also, before I start, I put new door pins in. Before, this thing would be jumping up and down and wiggling. Now it's tight. GM put these stupid little pins in, and they only got little C-clips on the bottom, and the little bushings, it all wears out. So for 40 bucks, 4 new pins. If you're gonna do it, I do recommend getting the ones with the screw, with the threaded nuts on the bottom of them. They supposedly hold a little tighter. I did not go with those. I cheaped out. This is definitely a farmer's vehicle. Why this is like this, I have no idea. Maybe I'll just take that apart. It'll probably do nothing. On and off switch, I have no idea. It was definitely a farmer's vehicle. I mean, the interior is in great shape, other than, you know, typical tearing the seat and this peeling off. It's got a lot of miles. The room, everything is in pretty good shape. The floor is filthy, but I mean, It's old carpet, and they had a dog, and like me, they got kids, so the roof has marks and dirt. Overhead controls, everything works in this thing. The automatic works, the auxiliary works, so they can use it in the back. Temperature controls, everything works. The one thing that doesn't work is these pedals. I gotta fix that, but it's not really been a big deal. Driver position works. The easy exit works, so you can slide the thing all the way back. This does not work, so the front of the seat can't go up and down, but it's in a good spot. Everything else works. Go inside here. Let's look at the dash. The dash has no cracks. The mirror's in good shape. The auto dimming mirror works. Get inside, close the door, fire this thing up. Turn the key on, lights come on, stereo works, AC works. It runs good, it sounds good. One problem, here's one of the first problems. Oil pressure gauge, very normal on these things. Now, I highly doubt it's the gauge itself, so I'm gonna replace the oil pressure sending unit. Cheap enough fix, I think it's about $70 in Canada anyway. Swap that out, should be able to read that again. I haven't been too worried about it. Put this thing in reverse, you're gonna hear a power door lock actuator in the back go off. Annoying, but it works. This thing is cool. One feature I really like in this vehicle, when you put it in reverse, the mirrors tilt down. You can set it to whatever you want to see the curbs and whatnot. I love that feature, and then you put it back in drive, everything goes back to normal. It takes a second, but there you go. Put it back in park. They really give you information on this thing. So I go through the whole settings, display, and they give you tons of options here to customize as to how you'd like to work your vehicle. I got mine all set up, so we'll turn that to normal. We're good. Fuel mileage, I'm averaging 14.7 per 100, which is just over 15 miles a gallon right now because I don't have a light foot. They give you all sorts of information, and I usually reset it. So on this trip, I've done 570 kilometers, used 84 liters. Not too bad, could be better. I get upwards of 19 miles to the gallon. Go here, that's how much range I got left, roughly, and it's pretty accurate. I've used another device for measuring. I've done my fuel calculations. They say it's a lie meter to a point. You just got to measure everything manually and see if it's accurate. Instant oil age, I gotta do my oil changes, I gotta do my maintenance. But I'm very happy with the information it gives you. I think it's ahead of its time. Everything here, good. I got lots of junk in there. The Bose system works amazingly. This all works. I love the roof vents. I love that this thing has roof vents that you can set so everybody stays nice and cool. And yes, the AC in this thing does in fact work. I am very happy that it does. Usually what happens is the lines go into the back rot, so you can lose all your coolant, so you got to get block off plates because doing the rear lines is expensive and a pain and not worth it to most people. So, but thankfully all mine are good. AC is holding up. I'm happy. I haven't had to replace anything to do with it. Another problem with this thing before I move on, once in a while you'll start the thing and you'll go to drive it, it feels like it's in fourth gear. I figured it out. It's a transfer case trying to start. Sometimes it'll be lit. It's trying to go into four-wheel drive. I don't know what the problem is. It's electrical. It'll be either lit up in forward low or the neutral light will be on, and I'll have to manually switch it back into two-wheel drive, and that seems to fix my problem. Minor details, I'll get to it eventually. These things are known to have malfunctions. And I've got a buddy with one of these who's having the exact same problem. This one, some farmer decided, I guess, maybe this won't spray, but it'll turn on. So he wired the washer fluid to this. Washer fluid works up front, but is turning on the rear wiper. So that's kind of goofy. And in Canada, auto headlights, I can't shut them off. I don't know why they bother with an off switch, but at night, if the auto headlights are on, I cannot shut them off even when I'm parked. For some reason, it just doesn't. I don't like it, but that's the way she is. The back door, pretty good shape. Seats are in excellent shape. This all works. I'm very happy with this. We can turn that temperature all the way down. Get the AC pumping back there. Headphone ports all work. The DVD player most definitely works. It'll take a minute to come on, but kids are happy with it. It keeps them entertained when I actually have something playing. Right now I do not have anything playing. I don't think I have any discs in the back, so that's not going to come on. Lights work. Vents are all here. I'd like to replace the roof ceiling material, the carpet, whatever you want to call this stuff on the roof. Rear seats, excellent shape. I did have a seat in here that came with it. It was I had a torn seat belt. I managed to pick up this nice matching leather one with no tears or anything problems for 60 bucks at an auto wrecker. I thought that was a pretty good deal. I also have a center bench as well, so I can have 8 passengers. I just pull these captains out, bolt the bench in, and that works good as well. Seats are all good. Rear hatch stays open. I'm happy with it. I mean, fix this one day, not too worried about that. Rear handle's gone. And look at all the space. Even with third row up, the space. That's really what I wanted this. I could pack everybody in here, load it up full of gear, and go on a road trip, which we are doing next month. Storage. I wish there was more kind of hidden storage. I wish there was one on this side, but got all the fan in there, which you should be able to hear. I'm happy. Everything folds up nicely. I got no sub back here. That's up front. Rubbers are coming out. Again, minor. I got no other issues to talk about back here at all. Again, door seats, they go up like that, and you push. I think, how do you get it here? Let's see here. Oh, yeah, there's a handle. Gotta take the headrest out, that's the only bummer. But then this folds flat. Once it does, and this lay flat, you have flat floor sleep back here. These little clips are broken. I'm gonna have to go to a wrecker, get a new one. And yeah, there's a lot of dog hair here. That's pretty gross, but again, minor details. And the seat, passenger's good, all the controls work. I've got no other issues that I know about in here. So we'll move on to the engine portion. This is the Vortec 5.3 liter V8 push rod. I like it. Bare bones, simple, and she runs really, really good. There's no ticking. There's no nothing. I am very happy with this engine. It performs great, accelerates great. There are a couple quirks. You can hear my AC making some sort of noise. I might have an AC leak now. Go figure. Anyway, deal with it later. The only issue I've had with this engine so far is the purge valve for the emissions. I think my charcoal canister's clogged. I can't fill it up all the way, but anyway, this thing was stuck open. Very common problem. And what happens is it's pulling vacuum into the engine, which is putting negative pressure on the, I think it's called negative pressures, trying to suck air out of the tank that's not there. Anyway, if you think you have this problem, or if you have hard starting after fueling up, or it doesn't want to start and it dies, check this once you actually get it running. First thing you do is you take your plug, you unplug it, and you push this white clip over to the right, and if you can, well, I'm having problems, but there we go. Pull that. If that, make sure you shut your vehicle off before you unplug it, and fire your vehicle up. Once you fire your vehicle up, you come here, put your finger over top. If there's suction, valve's no good. Replace it. It's like 30 bucks. It'll make your vehicle run better. Minor details again. This thing's got minor seeping around the valve covers. Another known problem with these exhaust manifold bolts. I have broken ones. They all break on all the engines. They're tiny, tiny little bolts. They should have thought that through. This one's broken. The one on the back's broken. Same with the other side. There are plates you can get that mount to the front of the block to here to clamp them tight. There's fairly straightforward fix until you gotta actually pull the bolts out, and that's a little bit of work. This thing is not eating coolant. I've heard they can start eating coolant because of cracked heads. I haven't had to top up the coolant at all. Haven't had to top up the oil. This thing, it's got 380 some odd thousand kilometers on it. I do got to replace the battery and a few minor things. Another thing to watch for, the ground on here and ground under the vehicles. Actually, I'll show you right now. There's two grounds right underneath the front here, I believe. Clean these, unbolt them, and grind them, clean them, however you got to do it. Get bare metal showing and reattach them. Those can cause problems. I haven't experienced any of those problems yet. And clean your fuse box too. Make sure taking blast clean it. You can actually pull this whole thing right out and clean underneath. Make sure it is not getting full of water. It's like on this one, you'll see it's rotting underneath here, which means shit's getting up there. Keep it clean, cover it up, do what you got to do. This is all work I still need to do when I have time. Anyway, the transmission in this is a 4L60E. I'm not a fan. It is a very weak transmission. They say the maximum towing capacity of this thing is 8,400 pounds. I don't know. I wouldn't. The first gear is so long, and then it drops all the way into second, and they could have done a lot better with that. I'm told that if you are going to tow anything, take it out of overdrive, put it in third, and leave it running in third. But at the same time, that's terrible for the highway as well. But you'll burn out the transmission otherwise. These things are not made for towing heavy. I've yet to tow anything with this, but I'll get there. So we're going to take a look underneath now and find some other problems. I'll show you other problems. This thing came with aftermarket airbags. Hitch. I believe this is a 5-link. You'll see your bar down below, another bar on the side here. I have aftermarket Firestone airbags in my springs. I put new rotors on. This thing needs work. There's a lot to replace here when they wear out, but it rides smooth as butter. Up there, right there, that is a charcoal canister. Those plug up. If you can't fill your tank, I can almost guarantee that is the problem. It's plugged. What happens is you'll tilt it out, little pellets will fall out, and that just doesn't do any good for anything. So it's a couple $100, I think, for one of those. Or you can find a way to just route the fuel tank vent and block off the purge valve on the engine. But I myself am not going to do that. Anyway, there's no other problems back here that I'm worried about. The exhaust is in good shape. The rear end, and this one has the G80, so it's got the auto locker supposedly. I haven't tested it out. I don't want to. We'll go up the front here. Typical problems. I got a toasted ball joint. I got a toasted CV shaft. It's done. It'll rock in and out. And also, wheel speed sensors. This guy right here. If you have the problem of coming to a stop, you drop down to about 5 miles an hour, 10 kilometers an hour, or whatever, the ABS will kick on and you'll feel your vehicle quickly jerk to one side. That's most likely a wheel speed sensor. And what's happening is the little sensor that mounts in there, rust builds up between the sensor and where it mounts onto, which pushes up on the sensor away from the tone ring, apparently. And then when that happens, it ain't reading properly. Maybe sometimes you'll get a warning on the gauges, but I get no warning. It just does it every single time I brake. So I got to pull those out and replace them. I got no other issues with this thing. Just trying to think. No, I got nothing. This thing, like I said, I've only done a couple things to it, period. And I'm very happy, and I'll continue to be happy. Basically, this vehicle is excellent. I think it's was ahead of its time. Is it loaded full of touchscreen and fancy tech? No, it's not the Denali. It is the SLT. I don't have a sunroof in this one. You could have gotten one. It does have dual climate zones. It does have power folding mirrors, heated mirrors. It's a great overall vehicle. Cheap to maintain. It seems like parts are relatively cheap and abundant. Every wrecking yard's got probably 30 of these things. They share the same front end as a Silverado, or you know, it's a Suburban. It's a Suburban. It's just the fancier GMC. I will keep this thing for a good while. I think it'll do me very good. I don't keep vehicles very long. My last one was a 93 Explorer. That was a pile of junk, gutless. Before that was a 67 Mercury pickup, 4-wheel drive. I daily drove that for 2 years. Loved it, but it was old and got 4 miles to the gallon. I needed a family vehicle. I can haul 12 feet of lumber in here and close the back hatch. That's pretty cool. It's not a new vehicle, but I don't have to make payments. These things are everywhere. You can buy them anywhere from 2 to 10 grand. I'd say 4 to 6 grand you can find a really nice one. That's Canadian dollars. I don't know what they are down in the States. I recommend it. They do have the quirks. They're electrical quirks, typical GM stuff going on. I get headlights that go out. My daytime running lights will burn out quick, apparently. I put LEDs in, see if that helps. Otherwise, that's it. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm constantly learning this vehicle. I'm learning the ins and outs. I'm reading everything I can and watching other reviews. So feel free to criticize anything I'm saying if I'm doing something wrong. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this wasn't too boring, but it's my first. Give it a little bit of time. We'll get better. Thanks.